Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Saturday agenda for Oak 2024. We have had an incredible 2 days of energy and community and fabulous farm growing potential and power and so much exchange going on, and I'm grateful that you got up early on this Saturday to be here, to be part of that, part of those conversations and part of this wonderful energy. So if you're a farmer, raise your hand. Raise it a little higher. Yes, pride. Thank you. We love farmers. Thank you very much. And all the rest of you, we love you too, because you're here to support all those farmers along with Oak, and we can't do it without any of you. So we need everybody here. We need everybody connected to you, the families and farm crews who are supporting you, everyone out there. Thank them as well. There are a couple of announcements later that we'll make, but we want to roll right into what you're here for bright and early, which is our morning farmer panel keynote. I'm going to share the housekeeping first. I'm getting better at this for those of you all who have been here for a couple days. And we're going to bring up a Slido slide. Slido is a tool that we've started to use this weekend, and I think it's been fairly successful, and it depends on you to truly make it successful. You'll see up here on the screen a QR code and some directions on how to get to the keynote question and answer portion of our event this morning. This is specific to the farmer keynote, so you'll want to find that. Just point your camera up there and tap the website that pops up, and that will get you into it. You select the farmer keynote portion of that, Saturday keynote, and you'll be able to type in your questions throughout the entire time we have with this wonderful group of farmers, and that will allow others to see your questions, and then you can choose to upvote or downvote the question based on the interest that you have in that particular question or topic or comment, and those will allow us to see what the majority in the room are interested in hearing more about from these farmers. So please contribute your voice and your vote to this collective conversation. We have several helpers in the room that if you are not someone who wants to use a QR code or is having trouble with the QR code or simply needs someone else to do it for you, we have some helpers and they're around the room. Maybe they could stand up or kind of give a wave, and they can come to you if you raise your hand and enter it on their phone for you. They can upvote something for you. They can type a question for you. Whatever you need, they're available. So thank you to them. And we'll have other staff mingling around who can help with that too. I believe that is all the housekeeping parts. And so, again, a keynote that we put a lot of thought and energy and love into deciding who we will put up on the stage. And all of these farmers, who you'll meet in just a moment, have been in the organic farming business for 10 years or more, and can speak to those years of the changing industry, the changing elements on their farm, and that they're seeing from consumers, and they're seeing from support and community. They all have their own stories to tell, and together, I hope that they will share the type of the words have left me, but the type of community engagement and need for collective working in the work that we're all doing together. So I was better with words on Friday. And they are all fresh. So you'll hear from them. I'm going to bring Bree Pearsall to the stage as the moderator, and she will help bring the rest of the farmers up here. Thanks for being here, and thanks to these wonderful keynote panelists. It's up to you, whichever.
I'm going to see you, please. Do we want both of them going at the same time? Thank you, everybody, for joining us early this morning on the second, and for many people, third day of the Oak Conference. We have a very special panel this morning that I am very excited to dig into with these growers. I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves, but a thread here, this is a diverse group of growers from different parts of the country. We have some folks joining us as invited guests from out of state. We have two fabulous Kentucky farmers here joining us as well. Their scale, their products, their markets are very different from each other. But the thread that really ties, I think, many of these farmers together is their really commitment and steadfast vision for the health of their farms, for the health of their communities, for growing food for people that they are in community with, and really their commitment to the organic movement and helping create a space where all of us that touch this movement in different ways can keep growing and keep thriving. So to begin with, I think we're going to just introduce ourselves, and we do have time this morning to hear from each of you, a little about who you are, but also where you farm, who you farm with, and the types of products you're growing and your markets. So take a little time to tell us about your farm journey. And my name is Bree Pearsall, and I farm at Rootbound Farm here in Crestwood, Kentucky. And I'll ask you all to do longer introductions than that, but I'm going to leave it at that for myself. So we'll start with you, Mac.
Thanks, Bree. First, I want to say, Larry, when we interviewed Brooke to take the ED job at Oak, it didn't look like this. This is awesome. Let's give Brooke and her crew a big. So my name is Mac Stone. I farm with my wife and her brother. Our family farm about 20 miles east of here, outside Georgetown, Kentucky. We're going to get into some transition stuff. So we jump to today. We do a bunch of organic vegetables. We have organic beef, pork, lamb, turkey, chicken, and eggs, because we like to eat all of those things. And we know that if you grow it organically, then you can eat those things in peace. So we do it looking at our customers, we realize we put our customers first for the last 20 some odd years. And now we just think that so many people depend on us for their food. We have a pretty big CSA and a farmer's market presence. And by going to the farmer's market, which we kind of backed out of when COVID came to town, my wife and I did, but that positive feedback, when people say, $8.50 for eggs, are you kidding me? But I need 2 dozen this week, it just keeps you going. When it's cold like last week and wet like this week, the organic community that has brought us to where we are is just so tremendous. That's pretty good. Yep.
I would like to thank the Kentucky for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been here for 2 days and I've enjoyed all of it so far. My name is W.B. Brown. I'm from Augusta, Georgia. I have a vegetable farm in about 20 acres. I farm around about 1.5 acres acre and a quarter rather. And the rest of it is in pasture. I also raise goats. We have a small, my wife and I is the only one working and steadily, you might say, on the farm. We raise all types of vegetables, and it's been good. We have limited ourselves, you might say, because there's only my wife and I, and we kind of limit ourselves to how much we can do. Right now, I sell a lot of stuff online, and I participate with 2 other markets, farm markets, and that's about all I do as far as vegetables, and it has been quite profitable for us, and I'm really pleased to be here to kind of answer some questions of what y'all ask, and hoping I can do some good somewhere. Thank you. This is Lynn White.
Hello, my name is Lynn Brown, and I can say ditto, 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 ditto. Everything that he said, okay? But yes, I've enjoyed myself being here, and we have learned as well the days that we have been here. We have went out on the different farms, and the High Tunnel farm, and was able to grab some information there and all. But in our little small town in Grovetown, Georgia, we right out of Augusta, we do have a little small farm, and with that, I am the paper pusher. I am the record keeper, and I take care of the books in the family and everything. But we have enjoyed ourselves here, and I truly hope that what we say that you'll be able to get something from, okay?
Thank you. Well, I'm so honored to be up here on this stage with these amazing farmers. My name is Anna Rains. I run Rains & Son Hilltop Farm in northern Kentucky, so we serve Kenton County, Boone County, and Campbell County up there. We've been growing since 2013. It's a small farm, so we just have 13 acres, and we're growing on 2 acres. Since we started, CSA has been a core to our farm, and we grew slowly. So we have 3 kids as well, 13, 10, and 8. So as we've been growing the farm, our kids have been growing up with it. And that's meant that our farm has kind of grown a little bit slowly. But at this point, we are now at 80 CSA shares a week, and we go to 2 farmers markets. So we're just growing vegetables. I came to farming, I met my husband in Madison, Wisconsin, and we were actually members of a CSA farm at that time. So just got to experience that wonderful community and trying new vegetables and all the wonderful things that go along with that. And so we were just so inspired by that, I wanted to come home. I'm from Kentucky originally, to come home and start a farm here. So we've been really successful with that. Right now, my husband still works full-time off the farm. I farm full-time, and I have some really amazing employees that help me on the farm. Some have been with me for 4 years, and I couldn't do it without them. So that's a big part of what we do. We're working towards having my husband come farm with me full-time, so we can support our family just with the farm, but as everybody knows, it's difficult. Really, we just need more farmers, I think, just to encourage the young people out here. The demand is really high. Like our CSA has been sold out for several years in a row, and we just need more people to be doing this. So I hope that's what we can kind of encourage you all to do. Thanks so much.
Echo, thank you very much. It's actually, I was thinking about the fact that, my name is Liz Graznak, sorry. I was thinking about the fact that my story sounds so very familiar to sort of all of these folks, and so that really resonates with me. My name is Liz Graznak. I am from outside of Columbia, Missouri. Happy Hollow Farm is the name of my farm. I'm entering my 14th year farming full-time for my full living. I have a fabulous wife and 2 children. Katie does not work on the farm with me, so it's just me that's built the farm from nothing. I also joined a CSA when I was in grad school, bit by the bug, said, I don't want to do this professor stuff, and ended up following this farming track. I am from Columbia and ended up going back because I just wanted to be closer to my family. I started out really small with 19 CSA members my first year, and with reckless abandon and hanging on for dear life, the farm has grown every year, and also I have an amazing crew, and you know, would not have been able to reach the growth that we have. I unfortunately have this problem that I can't say no, and I just want to meet the demand, and it seems like the demand is never ending. And so the farm has grown drastically. I mean, we had 16 acres under cultivation last year compared to a quarter of an acre my first year. And it's amazing that we haven't imploded on ourselves. But no, really, you know, it's been awesome. I love it. My family loves living on the farm, but really not interested in farming. Who knows, my kids might. They're still young. So, yeah. CSA also very dear to my heart, and although the growth of the CSA for me has stagnated, and it's been about the same for like 10 years, the growth of the farmers market has gone crazy. Our average attendance on a Saturday is like 7,000 people in the summer. Wow. So that's where the main growth has happened for me in the last few years. And that's why it's been like kind of a wild ride.
Thank you all. Great. Well, we're going to jump in with some of our questions, and we might just try to popcorn just so that if you feel really inspired to answer the question, you can go first, and we'll go from there. So our first question is just reflecting back on your journey from where you started, putting yourself kind of in our customers' shoes. What changes have you seen in the marketplace with the people who we're feeding about their understanding of our farm's products, what organic is, organic products? How has the consumer, the customer, changed in your mind, in your journey?
This me? Sure. I started farming in 2014, and at that time, it was quite new to me, and I have observed in the last 9 years or so that I've been farming that people have become more educated about organic material or organic food. As we grow, the public should know more about how beneficial organic vegetables are for you. I'm speaking about vegetables now. There's all kinds of other organic material, but I'm mostly concerned with vegetables right now. And I feel that the public in the future will learn more and more about organic vegetables and consume more and more organic vegetables because of the health factor that is involved there. And as we learn more about organic vegetables, there's going to be a more demand for organic vegetables. And it's not enough folks like me to supply your community with those vegetables. So these are some of the changes that I've seen thus far since I've been in the market with growing organic vegetables. Maybe some of the others have seen some other changes, but that is one thing that I have observed during my time as growing vegetables organically. Anybody else?
Yes. So one thing super noticeable for me, and it really correlates or corresponds a lot to the fact that we've had this massive expansion of our farmers market. Columbia, the community that I pretty much sell into, is only a town of about 165,000 people, and it is a university town. There's a number of small colleges, and when the students at the University of Missouri are in town, we get up to maybe about 200,000, 215, something like that. But having the central location that doesn't move around, it's the same place every week, 52 weeks a year, the customers know where to find us. And the customers come and they want to talk to you. They want to talk to me. They want to talk to me about their gardens. They want to talk to me about the Swiss chard that they bought last week and what they did with it. And that, I literally can't be a person, like at my market now, I cannot be a person that is selling something because there's too many customers that just want to talk and have a conversation. And that has changed a lot. Like, it did not used to be like that. And I don't know, and there's more kids coming to market. Also, I think that has to do with the fact that our market has created programs for kids to do at the market. Our market has many programs for low-income folks that double and match all these different SNAP benefits and WIC benefits. And so we have a very diverse customer group that comes to our market. But people come to market as like they're outing on Saturday mornings. I mean, yes, they're buying food, but they also come as something to do with their families. And I think having that gathering space, and truly, unlike what he said, I don't know if the majority of the customers that come to market are actually looking for organic produce. I mean, there are only 2 of us that are certified organic at my market, and in July, there's 100 vendors. Yes, there's meat and cheese and bread and prepared foods, but there's a lot of vegetable growers. And so for me in Columbia, I don't know that there's that many people that are actually looking for certified organic. They want good, beautiful, wide selection, something to do with their kids on a Saturday morning. And I mean, being certified was never even a question for me. I mean, that is how I farm, that's how I live, it's everything for how I take care of my farm. So it's just, I will always have that certified organic and real organic project label. It's how I think about farming. But I don't know if my customers necessarily think that that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Totally agree with what Liz said, and just the importance of our markets as community gathering spaces. I think I had written down for this question that I really noticed, like the year of COVID in 2020, the markets were some of the only places that were open because you could be outside, like we had our masks on, but still you could interact with other human beings and be outside. And we really noticed a huge bump in our sales that year. And it really crystallized for people how important local food is and supply chains, because we weren't able to get some things that we're used to getting at the grocery store. So I think there was something there that brought more awareness to the community, just about local food in general, that was really important at that time. I also really think that I agree with Liz that a lot of customers aren't necessarily looking for organic, that they're looking for quality, the best quality stuff. We are at smaller markets, and we're the only certified organic vendor at either of our markets. There are some people that come looking just for us because we are the only one, but I would say it's a smaller percentage of the total customers. But those customers that are invested in organic are really invested. And I think that they are starting to understand the difference between industrial organic and local organic, and that those really are two different things a lot of times. And maybe just thinking about what we can do as a community to underline that difference for people that aren't as aware, if they see the organic label, that there might be a difference between industrial organic products and local organic products. A lot of that comes from the conversations that you have there. So I think those things are so important, and I guess it just means you need to have more people actually selling the vegetables to people so you can be talking and sharing your story, because those stories are really important, and I think it helps to grow our community and strengthen those networks, for sure.
I found that in our area, we have a lot of people that is really into organic vegetables. They prefer organic vegetables. We have people that have other vegetables there, the conventional side, the side that is synthetic, you know, and all, but they prefer the organic. They will come up and they will ask, is this organic? Yes, it is. Well, I prefer this, okay? So you have people that's driven more in our area, more to organic vegetables. And yes, a lot of people love to gather and on Saturdays or during the week and all to do their grocery shopping, you know, getting their vegetables and everything. But most of our people, they're directly, you know, they're looking directly for organic vegetables. And we have found that in conversations, you know, you throw a little key out there to them and say, you know that when you cook collard greens, you will not smell the scent of them cooking in your house because they are organic? And they say, wow, is that true? We say, yes, it is. So what happens, they buy the organic vegetables and they go home and they cook them. And then the next market time that they come, they say, wow, you were right. It didn't smell up my house, you know? So organic vegetables has its good points, I feel. And we enjoy selling them ourselves.
Well, I think after 25 years at the farmer's market, our customers they come up apologizing to me when they ate something that's not organic. So, for us, what we've seen in the CSA or in the farmer's markets, young moms are like the newest first customer that we have. They start thinking about it a little more. The other, on the flip side of that, is there wouldn't be a Saturday go by that someone wouldn't come up to our table and say, my doctor told me I need to eat the kind of food you grow. Not a Saturday would go by. So I've been writing newsletters for our farm CSA weekly for years, and I don't know how to say some of the same things, Bree, you know, 10 more times. I've been saying it for 15 years. But we just hammer down on the organics, and like kind of a quote I think of is, why do so many seemingly intelligent people make such poor food choices? So we have a good-sized CSA, but there's 250,000 people in Lexington, and we're still sort of scrambling to get our CSA numbers. So how can we get this word out? Because people wanted it, they understand, they're smart enough to know. So whether it's pesticides and environmental conditions or personal health, we, the collective we, need to just hammer down on, you know, they'll come up to the market table and say, of course, I heard on the internet, or Martha Stewart said, or whatever. And it's like, no. The single biggest thing I think that we've done to sort of solidify our customer base is farm tours. when they come out to the farm and you show them this is what it does and this is what, and we try not to throw mud on the competition, but it's an opportunity to say, well, we do it this way, then they can infer that it's not that way. But when they see it, it's like National Geographic right before their eyes when they see these beneficial insects and things. So then they're changed forever. So the more we can do as a collective us of getting people to understand what we know, but there's short attention spans, and sure, Instagram's great, you can get some information out, but people are thirsty, they just know it's not right, but sure, is it easy to access? I don't know. We think it is. We're delivered to Lexington 4 days a week, and we go to market the other 2, so it seems pretty accessible. But there's still not that as much demand. There's still a disconnect, and we're still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, I'm curious with people saying, my doctor told me, is that something that has increased in the past few years? I see your heads shaking, and I certainly only in the last year probably have really started hearing this phrase, food is medicine, really as a depth of understanding all the ways that food can become a central part of how we talk about health and prevention. I'm very excited to see how that keeps unfolding. I think it's a beautiful thing, but it sounds like you're seeing that in the customers, that they're getting health advice from, yeah. Well, I know that each of you have shifted some in the way you're reaching your customers through your journey. I know Lynn and WB, we talked a little bit about your shift to the online platform. And so I'd love just to hear about why you made that shift and what resources in the community you're partnering with to make that shift to doing a lot of online sales away from your more traditional market. And then I know some of you have also additionally made that type of shift as well. So if you don't mind, Lynn or WB, starting with your online sales, how it works.
Yes, when I first started in organic farming, I was not online and stuff like that, and most of the times we went directly to farm markets and sold our vegetables. And later on, I hooked up with a program that we have in Augusta. They call it Augusta Locally Grown. And the process is a real good process the way they have it. That is, we sell vegetables online to the individual. And how that works is on Friday mornings, I put what I have available online. I have so many turnips, so many carburetors, so many tomatoes, and I put it online. And that goes out to the whole Augusta community, those individuals that has joined Augusta Locally Grown. And they select what they want, and that lasts from Friday morning till Sunday afternoon. And on Monday morning, I get a list of individuals want so many tomatoes, so many turnips, so many of this, and I put that package together for each individual. And on Tuesdays, I gather all those packages, and I take it to a particular place, and I deliver it there, and I'm through. And they come there and they pick it up. And the price thing, the way that works is they pay Augusta Locally Grown, and Augusta Locally Grown pays me. That's one way. And earlier, I put things online, and individuals come directly to my house or to my farm, and they pick up their vegetables. And that's like a, what do you call it, barn to door? Yeah. Barn to door type thing. And I put things online, and with Facebook and barn to door website, and they come to the house, and I package up what they want, and we're gone. Now that has worked real well for me. as a result of that, I sell good 90% of the stuff that I grow. And that has worked. That's why I say there are more and more people getting involved with organic vegetables. I get calls all the time. Do you have this? Do you have that? And if I have it, they'll come to my house and pick what they need, and we good to go. But online sales has helped me out quite a bit. I sell a good portion of my vegetables online, and I still go to markets also. So maybe
Yeah, got a question. Who coordinates that locally, Augusta locally grown? I'm asking who coordinates this Augusta locally grown. Is it the city? Is it a state, like a Department of Ag thing? Like, do you know?
No, what has happened in Augusta, there was a group of people way before I started organic farming. They put together a program in Augusta, and it's a nonprofit thing, and it was designed to assist people buying vegetables, healthy vegetables, in Augusta, we have several areas that are what considered food deserts, and they put together a program to assist that situation. And that situation has kind of like evolved, you might say. And not only they sell vegetables online, they coordinate with the inner city, and we sell vegetables there also. So that program is something that we have put together to assist the city in eating better as far as organic vegetables and stuff. But this is a city thing.
Yeah, it's a city.
And they call it Augusta Locally Grown. And it works out fine for me. Yeah.
Well, I'll go just because the microphone's there. But so when the pandemic hit, we were like 40% CSA, 40% farmers market, and 20% like light wholesale restaurants kind of stuff. We went to 90+% CSA. First of all, then in that March and April of that year, people came to the door. Of course, we wouldn't let them in, and they came to the door, and they were buying. They didn't care if it was grass-fed, organic, or just give me what you got. Cleaned out the freezer. It was awesome. That freezer just. But my wife built an online shopping cart within a week or something. And then 3 weeks later, she goes, no, I built the wrong one. She built a different one that we're still using today. But so those tools are out there. But there's a lot that goes into the information and descriptions and photos, but those tools are all there. So now as the dust is settling, I guess, I'm going to say we're at 60% CSA, 30% farmers markets, and we do very little restaurant kind of light wholesale anymore because we have attached ourselves to the customers. But a lot of that, the software we use for CSA is customizable. When my wife Ann first came to her brother and I and said, hey, I want to do this customizable CSA, I was like, no, hell no. It's enough work already, you crazy. Everybody gets to pay. And of course it's the best thing we ever did because not only does it allow them to pick and choose what they want of what's available. If we only have 20 heads of broccoli, we can post them as a swap, and then they go out, and so everything can kind of sells, and it's actually sort of worked to everybody's benefit. It's a great customer retention tool. That's the reason we went to it, I guess. And I guess there's several of those platforms out there now, but yeah, the technology is very much a part of it. And I just give you credit. You don't have to go set up a tent and set up tables and heck it all down. Man, you're way ahead of me.
I agree. There's absolutely a demand to be able to buy to be able to buy vegetables online because we buy everything online. So we use the software for our CSA as well. One of the difficult things is now there are so many different softwares that are out there that just trying to figure out what's a good fit for your farm can be challenging. So yeah, Liz says she's in the process of doing that right now. And we thought about potentially switching last year, but in any case, talk to other farmers about that, see what their experience is. You know, there's good and bad things about all sorts of different softwares, but I do think it enables us to reach a lot more people when they have the ability to order online. Our particular situation is that we have all of our CSA members online, have their shares through the software, and then they can add additional products through the store. One of the things that's awesome about that for us is that we can aggregate some products from other small producers and sell them through our CSA. So that's one of those great community building kinds of things where we have a distribution channel already and some other producer that might be a little bit smaller than us or produce a particular product that we're not producing, we can put on the store and sell that for them, and it's great for our customers because it's a one-stop shop for them as well. But yeah, it's the Wild West for softwares out there, and just talk to other farmers and see what might be the best fit for you. But oftentimes, it seems like it might not be worth it, like the cost of it might not be worth it, but it is so worth it. Just think about the time you spend trying to do this on your own without the help of a software, and or what you would pay an employee to do something like that. So it's typically well worth it, I think. Any thoughts?
Okay. Exactly. I think one resource that's out there, Katie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the CSA Innovation Network has a resource available online where they compare some of the top software platforms. So that's a great place to start digging into that black hole of CSA or online platform sales, not just CSA. Okay, so you, in your journeys of farming, you've had different moments of intersection with becoming certified organic. I mean, we hear your deep commitment from the beginning and identity as farmers growing organically, but our relationship to how different certifications intersect with our farming businesses is very unique and case specific. So I would like to hear a little bit about your journey with working with certifications, when that felt like a step for you that you wanted to take, what it was like moving into a certification space. And I know, Lynn, you are a self-identified paper pusher farmer, and we all have a lot to learn from you about how to manage paperwork in farming. So if you don't mind, I think we'll start with you about your journey into paperwork and organic certification.
Yes, when we decided to do the certified organic in 2014, we worked with a group called ICS, International Certification Service. That was a group that we were with at that time. And when I got involved with them, they sent me all this documentation. And when they sent me this documentation, Brown, he was outside working, doing his little due diligence outside, hiring and everything. And when he would come in the house, he would say, "You still working with that paper?" So yes, I am still working with this paper. So it was a lot of paperwork. So in my mindset, I'm saying, well, I can understand why people really don't want to fool up with being certified organic, because there's so much paperwork. So I end up working with a young lady at ICS to help me get through all this paperwork. So then after I did that, the next year, the paperwork started getting a little bit less and less. And then the big thing happened. We went computerized. We got on the computer. And once we got on the computer, the work became less and less. So don't let organic farming paperwork and everything run you away. Now today, it's not as bad as it was in 2014 when I came on board. I get on there now and I'm through, you know, because it's a lot of stuff that's already in the system, and all you have to do is go in and update now. That's all you have to do. So I found that in the beginning, it was rough, getting involved and being a certified organic farmer, but you know, doing the paperwork, as I said, I'm a paper pusher. I found that that was really complicated in the beginning, but now it's just a click of the button and I'm good to go. So don't let it keep you away from being, getting into the certified organic field. It's much easier now, and the door is wide open for you. We want all the certified organic farmers that we can get. So don't let the paperwork keep you away. It's not as bad as it used to be. Thank you.
Can I add one thing? One of the things that I think, coming into farming with no farming background, the requirements for being certified, I feel, have made me a much better farmer because they require record keeping. And record keeping makes me a better farmer from year to year, knowing what I did last year, knowing what I need to change for next year. So it was the thing that I didn't have a choice. I had to do it. It was tough in the beginning. It was absolutely tough the first couple of years, keeping all the records. But man, has it made me a much better farmer. And 2 years ago, I was nominated to the NOP, and I sat on the NOP board. I'm gonna go back to it. It was too much in the full-time job of running a farm that was in, and still is, in expansive growth. It was too much work, but I firmly believe that the NOP can and will and continue to have our best interests at heart, and we need to work with the NOP to continue to think about. Oh, the National Organic Program, sorry. We need to have our voice at the NOP, not just the big the big, I don't know the word I'm looking, big ag and organic. We need to have our voice at the NOP. It's really, really important. So when I retire, I'm going back.
Do we need to have farm sabbaticals so that you can like go sit on the NOP board for a year and then come back to your farm? Yeah, perhaps, because we can't do it all. Or we have our awesome advocates, people like the folks at Oak that can go and advocate for us, which is also really awesome. Just speaking a little bit about our organic farm journey. So we started off using organic practices and certified officially in 2020. I was just gonna say that, you know, even then in 2020, we used some of the awesome Oak resources to help us through that process. They had an organic transition trainer program at the time. And now there's even more resources. There's this new mentorship program that there's funding for, that you can become a mentee and have like help with a specific mentor guiding you through the process. So there's just so many resources out there, template spreadsheets to help you get started with the computer part of it. So definitely just echoing the piece of don't be intimidated. You can do this, and it does make you a better farmer.
That's incredible. We don't have Missouri. You guys are amazing.
One thing that I can say is that if you're going to be into the organic field, it is wonderful to get your mentor.
Yeah.
Get someone to work with you, to walk with you through that journey. It will help you out, you'll learn a lot and everything. And so to have a mentor, that is the key. And you'll learn a whole lot.
My organic journey started right where we're sitting. I was a farm manager at Kentucky State University, this farm. KSU has apiculture and aquaculture mandates for the state, if you will. So those researchers were telling me, like, don't be spraying any of that stuff around my bees. And I actually killed some fish with a herbicide one time, and my boss said, hey, you can't get away with that too often and keep your job. So I thought, well, I just better stop using that stuff because I obviously don't know how to do it. And we certified some acreage here as one of the first university farms in the state, some acreage down there to do some vegetable research. Now we got Bree and we got UK that has certified acreage. So it's been great. So that's where actually, so we started what was called the Third Thursday program, still going on today. Just get people out here the third Thursday of every month, just walk it and see the progression through. And people were seeing amazing things, so it started spreading out, and I guess in some respects this is an outgrowth of all of that. Then to my personal farming, since I met my future wife at one of those Third Thursdays, ended up moving in with her. We started converting Elmwood Stock Farm over to organic farming. The easy stuff like spinaches and lettuces that don't have many pests, onions, there's lots of little stuff. Cucurbits were a long time coming. We're now still using row covers, and it's like we might as well just put them in a building now, so there's more work than, but it's, so our transition took us about 12 or 15 years to get everything certified organic. Lamb was the last thing because they eat so close to the ground. I remember a conversation I had with Ben Abel about lamb management. Now it's simple. You just move them every 3 days and you don't have any problems. We had a 200% lamb crop because we just had managing the animals for their best interest. So that's what the beauty of organic is. You're in relationship with nature. You don't need all that stuff that kills stuff. And it's just been a very rewarding way to farm my whole life. And the paperwork, sure, it does make you a better farmer. It does make you, and you need all that information anyway.
All right. So to shift gears a little bit to just our personal and professional fulfillment in farming, we know that farming can be very hard. It can be lonely. It can be very high stress. National statistics tell us that farmers have some of the highest mental health risks of any profession. And we know many of us come to farming because of a lifestyle that we want, because of a deep values-based commitment. So we want to talk a little bit about how you are building communities of support for your farm, for your family, for yourself, that helps sustain you in this work for the present and for the long term.
So I mentioned earlier that we always put our customers first, and that has had some downsides also. But knowing their customers, that's what keeps us going. We've got to, our customers are counting on us, so that's what gets us up in the morning without an alarm clock. But we couldn't do that. My wife and I were sort of like, I'm the morning person, she's the night person, she's the meticulous paper person, and I'm kind of like, big picture, yeah, we could do this. You know? But without that give and take, an example of it, we were selling eggs at the market. We only had like 6 dozen. There were egg fights at the farmer's market table because they were running out by 7 in the morning. She said, we need more eggs. And I said, okay, well, I need more chickens. She said, I guess you need a chicken house, don't you? I said, well, yeah. So we each made our list of what we needed for a good chicken house. Mine was some roofing tin and some 2x4s and a wagon. Hers was shade, protection from the hawks, a place to lay their nest, you know. So we put these 2 lists together, and we've been raising chickens without problems for a long time. So, but we wouldn't do that without that support of each other. Because Mother Nature is not going to coddle you. She's going to throw everything she has. So be ready for it. And when you have support of family, and then knowing that your customers are just counting on you, and they're worried about you in the weather when it's bad weather kind of thing too. So we couldn't do it without our customers, but in case my wife and I couldn't do it without each other.
Yeah, so August is really hard on the farm. Enjoy the beautiful springtime, the energy of spring, the relaxation of fall. Wonderful. Look forward to those all year. August is just really, really hard. And so because that's something you know, or you know now because I'm telling you, plan for some kind of break either before or after that. It's just somewhere in there. So I think for me, what helps so much with mental health is having my amazing farm crew. We also started a volunteer program this year that I thought was really great. I think volunteers are interesting because you really need to plan for them in a very specific way so that they can be useful to you. But if you do that, then you get some kind of menial tasks done together as a group. They enjoy it. Their enjoyment gives you enjoyment. And that's really a wonderful thing. So I think that can be great. But I think just planning for your help on the farm in some way that makes sense, which kind of leads us into some labor questions a little bit. And then also, Mac mentioned the farmers market, the customers. That's so much a part, I think, of maintaining good mental health, is having those interactions with people and just knowing how much it means to them, like what we're doing. So that really kind of keeps you going when it's August and you still have half your CSA season left to go and you just feel kind of burnt out. The fall is coming, and that's always nice. Yes.
I'd like to say a little bit about mental health. I look at mental health not only just for farming, but as far as life is concerned. You look at it like a three-legged table. The good Lord has provided us 24 hours a day, and I go with this theory: 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, and 8 hours for social life. Those three things that you have to maintain in order to have mental stability. So in our situation, yes, I work as much as I can. I don't work no 8 hours a day on farm, and I don't sleep 8 hours every night. But you have to have some type of association with others. As far as farming is concerned, in my situation, there are 4 other farmers that we work with, and we plan together, we communicate together, we help each other together. These are things that has helped us to cope with working on the farm. And that's something that each and every one of us should put together, as far as not just one thing. You have to spread your life around and maintain that balance, not only in farming, but in life itself. So mental health is very important to all of us, regardless of what you're doing. So mingle with the rest of the world, and you'll be okay. That's the way I see it. There you go.
That's awesome. So I will say that for those who've been doing this a lot of years, these winter conferences are like, you look forward to it as a chance to see each other, recharge, learn about new varieties and specifics, but a lot of it just recharging and like, we made it another year, okay, we're in, you know. And then you go, okay, we're gonna go do it another year, I guess. You know, but just the conferences around and the social interaction, it's just awesome. So again, thanks Brooke and staff and crew for bringing it all together.
Yeah, I think that I am finding myself increasingly looking towards the people that I work alongside on the farm on a daily basis to be my community of care. And So, you know, as our farm has grown, and we've certainly added staff, year-round staff, seasonal staff, I think as the primary employers on the farm, you know, we are spending a lot of our energy now thinking about how to put things in place so there is a community of care on the farm. You know, when we have up to 20 people working on the farm in the peak season, there is always somebody who's needing to step forward because somebody is needing to step back. I mean, that is something that I expect now. The norm is that people need to be able to lean in and lean out, and you can only lean out when there are people there to lean in. And so, you know, Ben and I have been trying to put attention towards just like, how do you lean out on a farm? Well, one way you do that is with paid time off, you know, and so really stretching ourselves as employers to try to, you know, look at what are other businesses doing, not even just in farming, but how are people, small businesses, navigating workplace tools to help people show up. And that ultimately is what we need as the people who own the business. We need that strength and stability and community of care on the farm, because we also need to step out. That has come out for us personally. Yeah, that's something that I am asking myself a lot. With HR, I always feel like I am 5 steps behind. You know, it's not a natural skill set necessarily for many of us that start small businesses to know how to navigate human resources, but the more we push ourselves to do better, I think the more we really move towards a vision of community care, even if we haven't quite arrived yet. So, okay. Is there anything anyone would like to add about that piece of building community? Yeah.
Maybe a little tangential to that, but you talked about staff, and you know, we would not have our business without the crew that we have. And when we were starting out, back in the days, it was just the 3 of us and some part-time help kind of thing. And we would hear ourselves make a decision. We would have the first person we hired, they had to bring their own income. They were going to harvest enough, or we could tell at farmers market if we had an extra person, we could sell more stuff than their salary was, so to speak. So when you first start out with those, how can I grow? I would hear people say, well, I don't want to hire anybody, so then that's the size of your business. You've just determined that's the size of your business. So as you want to grow and not have to do everything yourself, you start doing different stuff, don't you? But then just keep adding people that bring their own income to the point where then you can grow your business. So we have a bunch of guys on the government H-2A guest worker program from Mexico. It's been a lot of the same guys for 20 years. They know how to hold their tongue to start the truck and all that kind of stuff. And we would not have this business without them. But we just got there incrementally because of, but the main thing I want to mention is because what they have brought to us. They're part of the family. They have brought their culture to us as much as the other way around. And we're just really proud of that relationship that Bree was talking about.
All right, well then let's see how we're doing on time. All right, we have about 5 minutes left before we will switch to a Q&A time. So we do have time for another question, specifically about the decision to scale and bring people into your operation versus knowing what key decisions you need to make if you don't want to, scale and hire employees. So as people are navigating labor issues, how did you build out your farm team? Where did you start? What lessons did you learn? What would you not do again? What do you wish you had done when you began that process? Liz?
I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to talk about labor this afternoon, and I'm going to tell you my whole story. But I started really small with just me, and now I have, in the main season, 9 full-time employees, and in the, right now I've got 2 full-time employees year-round. So the farm has grown a lot, and lots of changes in the last 14 years for me, and I am going to talk all about it. But labor is a thing.
The only thing that I can say is that it's just us two. We haven't really ventured, ventured out into getting anyone to come on the farm to really help us. The thing that we will do at times is that there's an area called Augusta Tech. It's called Augusta College now. They have students in horticulture. So they will partner in with us and come to our farm and assist us whenever we request. But other than that, it's just us. And we have been maintaining pretty good. We learned that you can't plant a whole lot of vegetables because it's just us two. So to be able to maintain what you have, and that's how we have been doing it.
Nothing to say. I have no employees.
So I can say a little more, I guess. So when hiring at the farm, people come out and they'll say, oh, I want to work an organic farm, yeah. And then they want to work on Tuesday afternoon and Friday mornings and that kind of thing. So if you're looking to, if you can invest in the people and really immerse them to where you can capture their attention, but they've got to work enough hours to, if you're here, you're going to be more available to learn more stuff, right? So finding those people, but they can get a job way closer to where they live than driving out to the farm, all those types of issues. Farmers markets are a great place. I used to say that when you see people with all these piercings and tattoos and all this stuff going on, they work at the best restaurants in town, and they also are some of the best people that can work at a farmer's market because they know food and they like food and whatnot. So we would work with our restaurant accounts to try to hire people to work farmers markets. We found a few. We went to the School of Music, whatever it's called, and we found people that wanted to be theatrical and wanted to, and they're great behind the table. You just teach them about vegetables, kind of a thing. At the farm, we've had a lot of great people over the years, a lot of young people that have come and gone, some here that are farming now. So it's very rewarding. So people have to they have to have that thirst for wanting to learn, because it's, y'all know, it's not easy. It's no matter what the weather is. And there's less people that are willing to put out all the effort. So, but the hook is the education and what I tell people when they work for a summer at farmers market, they're going to learn more than they thought they were going to learn by just working at the farm, kind of a thing. So just be proud of what you can offer people. It's way better than just showing up for work and growing some vegetables.
So I think we had to hire employees a little sooner than like a small farm of our size normally would have, because our kids were so small at the time, and initially both my husband and I were working off the farm. So I just wanted to say a few things about that, including sometimes you don't think you need extra help, but all of a sudden if you have it, there's a million things that you find that you can do with those people. And then I also find it so valuable to have people working with me, because I can't slack off if I know that I have people coming and depending on me. I need to have a plan. I need to have a good plan and know what's going on. So I do think that starting off with some paid employees, or before you think you need it, kind of bringing some people on can be super valuable. And just like Max said, we have so much to offer them. I mean, we can't offer them the highest wages, but we can offer them an amazing work environment. We can offer them a great home-cooked meal. That's something we do on Wednesdays, is I make a meal for the employees, and I know a lot of farms do that kind of thing. And it's such a nice time for us to kind of gather and just go over what's going on and just sit together for a minute and not have to be busy the entire time. But just, the people on the farm, they're your social support. They help get it done. It's a wonderful thing if you can find the right people.
All right. Jenny, would you like to explain the Q&A?
Absolutely. Well, first, another gratitude to this great group. I really appreciate you all being vulnerable enough and giving enough to sit up here on a stage. I don't know about you all, but it's not often I go any other place than a farming conference and see farmers up on the stage just sharing all the ins and outs of their work. So a gratitude round of applause before the first one. And it's not over yet. We still have a good bit of time to hear from the audience via Slido. So I'm going to invite Bree in just a minute to leave her cushy spot up in that seat to come over here so she can see the questions in front of me that are also in the podium, the same thing you're seeing up on the screen. Now is your chance via the QR code or one of our helpers who are out in the audience, who will stand up and make themselves visible so you can get their attention if you need it. To upvote or downvote or add new questions. And so that's been happening the whole time that they've been talking. If you haven't weighed into that and you want to, please let us know. We'll be happy to help you with that. And we'll go from there. So Bree, feel free to tailor these questions based on what you've already talked about and based on what you know of these farmers. They're right here, so yeah. It's a magic setup here with the KSU media team.
All right. I did kind of like it when they were visible. Is that okay if we make them visible? Yeah. Do you mind making the questions visible? Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So thank you all for your questions and participation. These are a lot of votes, so this is a lot of people participating. Our first question is a hot one. But we need to start there. So the question is, what guidance can you give young farmers who are living paycheck to paycheck with limited credit history for starting their own business? So young farmers getting into farming with limited credit history, living paycheck to paycheck for starting their own farming business.
It is so hard. I mean, this wasn't our experience, so I can't speak from my own experience in this way. I do think, so our experience was that we had other jobs while we were starting to build the farm, and sometimes that's the way to do it. That's not always the way to do it. I did sit in on a funding talk just here yesterday, and it's kind of amazing at this moment in time how much funding does exist out there for young farmers, and there are people there to help you through that too, because it can be really overwhelming. So this woman at K-Card, I'm just gonna put that out wherever she is, she was like, I'm here to help you. So reach out to those resources, because I think that's really how, you gotta go to your community. It's not just you by yourself doing this. There are people that wanna support you. So I think just find those resources, reach out to those people that are there to help you. Anyone else have a thought? Yeah?
I was that person for the first 10 to 11 years that I was farming. And it takes grit. It takes grit and not giving up. Very true about there's so many more resources now. And that's amazing because they didn't exist 15 years ago when I was trying to get started. Yeah, it takes a partner that's very forgiving. I absolutely, very honestly wanted to quit many times, and was very close one time. So, yeah, it takes grit and not giving up. Believing in yourself.
In order to accomplish anything, the best thing I found out is to make a plan. Those of you that decide to get into organic farming, I would say the best thing for you to do to get started is to make a plan. Make it as detailed as possible, because when you make that plan from beginning to the end or where you want to go, there are going to be some things in that plan you're going to have to change in order to get where you want to go. Like the young lady said, there are so many resources there for an individual to get into organic farming. But you first need to make a plan. How do you want to get there? Not just like when I came here. I've never been to Kentucky. When the young lady called me to come to Kentucky, the first thing I did, I Googled, where is Kentucky? All right? So that means I had to make a plan to get from Augusta to Kentucky. So when you start off in any venture, all right, make a plan. Write it down as detailed as possible from beginning to where you want to go. That is what you need to do in order to be successful in anything. Make a plan, write it down, and show it to your mentor or someone that has been there before, and work it out, regardless of where you're at. Whether you've just been getting started or been farming somewhere else or whatever. From there, make a plan and write it down. And more likely you'll be successful if the plan is good. That's what I got to say for those of you that want to get into farming or anything. Write it down and go from there. Yes.
I think I would just add that even with a vision of where you want to go, it doesn't have to be where you start. I think we always wanted to have a diversified CSA. That was our dream. That was why we got into farming. But it was over almost 10 years of farming before we started the CSA. In the first couple of years, we were growing one crop only, like sweet potatoes, because we were also both working off-farm jobs. It limited the amount of inputs we needed to implement, excuse me, that we needed to invest in. And so it's kind of maybe a little bit boring to just grow sweet potatoes even, you know, but that was never the end goal. But I think it's not where you have to start. So. All right. Any tips? This one has one more, even though it's not yellow. Any tips on finding and purchasing land to farm on?
Those of you that, well, I'll say it like this. When the good Lord created the heaven and earth, he made the earth. He ain't making no more dirt, all right? So those of us that have property, yes, we okay. And in order to farm, you gotta have land. You either gonna have to rent it or find some other way to get the land. Now, I would like to go back to my father's time. I'm the son of a sharecropper. Those of you that might not know what that is sharing your land with someone else. My father only owned about 35 acres, but he farmed about 500. How that worked, he either rented it or he sharecropped it with someone. That is, okay, I got 20 acres over here, and I would like to grow some peanuts, but I ain't got no money. All right, so you go to the owner and say, hey, look, if you buy the fertilizing seed, I'll grow it, and when we finish, we'll split the profit. You take your part out, and I'll take this, and they'll take that, and you make that agreement. Now you got some land to work with. A number of you all may have some friends that own a lot over here, but I ain't got no money to buy that lot, but I want to share it with you. These are some things that you can do in order to acquire the property to do your farming, your gardening. These are some of the things that you can work out with the guy that has the land and you want to use it that way. And like the young lady said, there are several programs that will allow you to own property or use property to do this type of farming. We need organic farmers. We cannot supply enough organic vegetable for the community we live in order to keep ourselves healthy. So be creative in owning property to grow vegetables. That's what I say about the land situation, so whatever. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Matt.
So when the pandemic hit, we called a friend, Jessica, that had been raising flowers in a farm near here. And my wife was kind of crying and saying, Jessica, we need help. Can you just come help at least once a day, and, help us through this busy time? And now Jessica has put together a flower CSA for us. She's running the whole program. She has her high tunnel. She has her sections of the field, her greenhouse. So she's fully farming without a lot of that responsibility of the ownership and the headaches and whatnot. And she's having a lot of fun at it, and she's done a great job for us and our customers. So there are some ways that if you can go and attach, because if you go to the bank and say, Mr. Banker, I need $100,000, and I'm gonna stand on the side of the road in Lexington and hope it doesn't rain and sell this stuff, you're probably not gonna get a loan. So I don't know how to get to the ownership thing, but there's other ways that you can build, and then once you can get started, then you'll know people, and you'll know, and you can branch out, and then when the neighbor house comes up for sale, then it's available, and good things can happen. Hard work makes you in a good place, good things to happen.
That actually is connected to what I was thinking. Farmers know their neighbors, and farmers know the land in their area that maybe is for sale, maybe might be for sale, maybe could potentially be rented. So maybe starting at your farmer's market and having conversations with the growers that are at your market is a good idea, because those people know their neighbors and they know their community, and they might be able to put you in touch with a situation like that, or a situation that they know a house or a farm that might be coming up for sale, not on the market yet. I think I would start with trying to reach out to your local or bigger than local, other farmers.
Just had my experiences in leasing, and we have always rented land to build our farm business, and we expect to be leasing land for the rest of our lives. And so the way that we have made all of those relationships is through networking with people in our community events like this. So from the very first farm that we leased, it was a relationship with somebody that we met through Community Farm Alliance. The second farm that we leased, a similar community member, and then the place where we're farming now, which we imagine as our forever home. In a leasing situation, we met through putting ourselves out there in a community like this that we were looking for a specific type of farm, and then someone made a connection for us. So if you're in a space like this, you're already networking, and I think that continue putting it out there every chance you get to talk about your farm, that you are looking for land, and put out there what your vision is, and that allows people to think of you when they have connections to make. Okay, how are we doing on time?
Real quick, can I add on that? Anyone that's asking that question, that's exactly what we do. We purchase farmland for organic farmers. Please don't find that. Iroquois Valley Farms.
Iroquois Valley Farms, thank you. Okay. Oh yeah, so we have only about a minute left, which is probably really not enough time to, do you want? Okay, okay.
I've got,
Tell us.
is it the example of mistake? This is very specific, but anybody that's growing vegetables is going to be burying water lines. If you're going to bury a water line, run some conduit in the same ditch. Whether you have any plans right now or not that you think you might want electricity there, you're going to need electricity there. Run conduit in that ditch. I made that mistake so many times. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I am telling you, if you're going to put in a water line, put in some conduit.
I love that. Any other quick lessons, something you wish you had known, wish you had done differently? Well, that's okay. Well, thank you all for your generosity of time and spirit and talent. So thank you.